Hi guys, it's Tuesday and I thought I would do a let's play video, which if you have followed me for a while, I used to put out let's play videos on occasion whenever I did a DIY or something outside of the scope of scrapbooking, like a canvas or some other little item that I would probably use paper products and scrapbook products for, but didn't actually make a layout. So as you can see, I put my silhouette to work and cut out a lot of leaves. One of the set of leaves is from the Hip Kit Club October die cuts or cut file, and then the other is what came with the silhouette. So there are some solids and there are some outlines, and as you can see, I just grabbed a bunch of old paper from Jen Hadfield, and it was called Simple Life, and I really needed to use some of that collection up, and I'm glad that I used it because the colors worked out perfectly, and I didn't think I was going to use that paper, and so I was really excited to put it to work. And I just used different shades of thread to sew through those leaves, and I'm showing you some products that I pulled that are very old in my stash. I even considered getting rid of some of these Prima flowers, but they're just so gorgeous that I could not resist keeping them, and I'm really glad at this point I did, because now I have gone wreath crazy and I really enjoy making these wreaths. And I'm going to make some for my clients and for my family, and then I'm also going to do some Christmas ones. So my daughter has her own apartment and my other daughter is getting one in December, and so I thought it would be good to have them have one on their door, and that it would look welcoming and nice for a little seasonal decoration. So I'll be handing these out to loved ones and people that are I consider friends. So I'm also going through some of my product from my scrapbook stash that has some older elements that I might not normally use, or might use in the future, but I just wanted to use them up, and they're from various companies, as you can see. And I had this ribbon. I'm pretty ribbon crazy. I've got a lot of ribbon, and this one came off of a gift that I received, so it was already tied, and I'm just going to cut it and have a nice little hanger for it. So I thought at first I would take this 12-inch embroidery hoop, which I got at Hobby Lobby for $2.50, and I was going to just use one hoop, but then the more I thought about it, I really needed a more solid base, so I'm going to glue it to, and I do this backwards, I glue on the inside, I should have glued on the outside. So I glue this to the other hoop and make it secure so it's not going to come loose. You see I'm wiping it up in the center there, but that's okay because it all works out. I end up getting that stuck down, and I did not come up with this on my own. This is an inspiration from Anna Comenda, which is on YouTube, and I've been following her for quite a while, and I just really enjoy some of the layouts and projects that she does. So when she did this, I was like, oh my gosh, I've really been wanting to do something that is DIY, and this would be simple and perfect and use up stash I already have. I end up using a lot of metal elements as well, and alcohol inking them, and yeah, I was crazy about metal at one point doing canvases, and I thought I'm going to dig into that as well. So you can use all different types of products to make these wreaths, and I'm going to speed up the process here just a little bit so that you can not go through the entire process in normal speed, but it does take no time to make one of these. I think I made 3 the first night, and it took me maybe 2 hours. I don't know. I'm just playing around with placement here, and I am if you heard that, that was Bab. I'm just figuring out how I want it to look, and then I'm going to get that set up and start gluing everything down. So here we go. Okay, so you can see that I've kind of got an idea of what I'd like to do, and I am starting to glue down leaves. And I really like the varying colors. I like that some of them are stitched and some of them are not. And I like the dimension that the stitched ones are adding, because I can always bend those up for the center stitch and make them look more dimensional. Paper is so fun to work with. I just absolutely love working with paper products. So I'm going to glue those down, and I'm going to do a little higher on the right, a little lower on the left. And you can see I'm just filling in some spaces here and there. And this is actually the first one I made, so I don't have as many dimensional elements. I ended up pulling out some of my Wild Orchid crafts, which are more roses, like paper roses, and heavier dimensional products. But I did end up making some of those as well. And I may, well, I've given away so many. I've only got one that I have not given away, and one that's hanging on my door. The first one, Alan liked it so much it's hanging on my door. So the second one, I will take a picture of that and have it at the end of this video. How's that? And that way you can see two different ones. One that's, I kept getting better as I went along, and I like the way it turned out more, and I was using heavier embellishments and getting a little more crowded with my leaves and just making it a little more fuller. So it's kind of a different color scheme, but it's still sticking with the fall feel. And I'm going to have fun doing Christmas too. I think that's going to be really fun. And I've got a client that is single, and he raised his two sons, and he is now taking care of his elderly mother at home. And he just gives and gives, and I feel like when I gave him one of these wreaths, I thought he was so excited. It was just like, it was amazing. I felt so good giving him this wreath. It was like he was shocked that somebody would do something like that for him, which is kind of sad, but that's really the only family he has. And, you know, he's trying to take care of his health by training in the gym, and he eats terribly, and I can't get him to eat properly or to not, you know, indulge, should we put it. But I think it's because sometimes he gets sad, and giving him a wreath like this, he loves to decorate, and he said he hasn't had time because his mother had a fall, and then she was in a rehab center trying to get stronger, and now she's been released home, and he's the only caretaker besides the nurses that he hires. So anyway, my point being, it just gave me a lot of pleasure making these, and also giving it to people that I think really appreciate and enjoy it. So now this little metal element that I alcohol inked is so lightweight that it worked out. I tried to do another metal piece on another wreath, and it did not work out because it was too heavy. But I do like the effect that this metal put or gave to the wreath. So I went ahead and dug into some of my other metal elements, and this is just a little bird on a hanging wire, or a little arch. What do you call those? I don't even know. Like a little bird stand? A bird swing? I don't know. I've never had a bird. I don't know what you call those. A perch? Maybe it's a perch, but it's man-made. Anyway, I end up gluing that with some twine so that it hangs, and I think it's really cute. And so it's just going to hang there from the top. And then I'm also going to add something at the bottom that hangs. I believe it is a light bulb that I had in my stash. I had bought a bunch of those from Tim Holtz and Maya Road, and I thought this would be a good time to use them. And I do end up using that Tim Holtz light bulb that is the solid acrylic, and it says memories, and it's just to the right there. I'm going to end up gluing that onto the wreath as well. So now these I've had in my stash forever, and they're just some wood elements. I went nuts over these when they first came out, and so I'm really glad I got a chance to use them. And it says Lucky on the wood ticket. And as you can see, I'm just kind of filling in gaps around the wreath. And I want to make sure that that string that the bird is hanging on is covered by leaves as well. Now, for whatever reason, I did end up cutting some of these hip kit leaves that are outlines on a gray, and I didn't like the gray, so I ended up getting rid of those. But I do like the other colors. And I love the punch of black, and I love the punch of the dark red. And here I am covering up that little bird on a perch twine. I'm going to put the wooden ticket right there at the base on the bottom. Oh, I did have these leaves as well. I'm going to alcohol ink them. And I could not figure out a place for this acorn. I don't think that I end up putting it on the wreath. I end up using it on a different wreath, though. Oh, maybe I do. Let's see. No, I cut it down, but I don't think I end up using it. But I do end up bringing some of that brass wreath in that I alcohol ink. And here I'm securing that Tim Holtz light bulb. So I'm liking it. It's coming together, and I dig into some of my ephemera packs and pull from them. I believe this is also from Jen Hadfield. I think it's the same collection. And glue them down. I think they look so homey. I just love that. There we go. There's the alcohol ink. I'm going to I end up getting a little bit on my wood background. It's not really wood, but you know what I mean. And so you've got to be careful with alcohol ink. I got that stuff everywhere. It was on my wipies. It was, it stained the back of my little wood grain. It just, that stuff gets everywhere. My fingers were stained for days. Be careful when you use that. And I believe this color is called, I want to say mushroom. Yeah, mushroom. So I did find a couple of other little ephemera pieces. And I want to say that deer head is from one of my favorite collections, Notes and Things. And I'm trying to glue one of those leaves down and stick it in where it shows. Oh, I think I'm getting advice from my lovely daughter. So I'm actually using 2 leaves on this one. I was kind of sparing with those as I made more because I didn't have that many, and I end up using them up. So now I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to put the word thanks, which is from an old sticker sheet. And I'm gluing it in place. And you do have to be careful with all the glue strings. They will get everywhere. Kind of a mess, but that's okay. It turned out lovely. I keep picking it up and taking it out of frame, but you kind of have to do that in order to make sure that the hanging elements are not wonky and crooked and you're getting things straight. So when I scrapbook or when I do a homemade project, I'm standing And so when it lays down and it's multi-dimensional like this, it's sometimes hard to make sure that everything is straight. I think I'm just trying to figure that out right now. And I'm probably going to add the ribbon last. Oh, I had not glued down that little picture. I'm going to glue that down for sure. I love that little picture with the flowers. And you can see the little thanks is there. Oh, and I do believe I tuck in one of these Prima flowers that is a lovely golden color. Love those. I'm really excited that I got to use some of my Prima flowers. Interviewing other pieces, but I don't think I end up putting anything else besides maybe another little hanging. I don't think I end up adding that flower. We're almost to the end here, so possibly. Oh, I do end up adding that because I want it to cover that label, because it looks like it's just free floating there, not really doing anything. Oh, and I do add this little wood label from One Canoe too. And it says something about fall and celebrating places or something like that. So here's where I add the ribbon. And it's super easy. It just was like that on the package, so I just trim it off and it's perfect. Super easy. 2 tails and a little bit of glue. And that will be the center where it hangs from. So there you go. So this is pictures of the first wreath hanging on my door. I did end up adding that little metal lamp, or you could call it a bell, I guess, hanging at the bottom. And then this is pictures of the first wreath. And now these are pictures of the second wreath that I wanted to share with you. So I've made about 4 or 5 of these, but you can see how each one is unique and different to the other. And so give it a try. It's really fun. And that is it for now. I hope I inspired you, and I will talk to you later. Ta-ta for now. Bye.